Hello, welcome back to Schizophrenia Life. I hope you guys had an amazing Friday, or are hopefully getting off work soon, depending on what time zone you're in. Um, it's about 9 p.m., so it's not really the morning show, it's kind of the late night show, today, just because I didn't have time this morning. Um, but I want to start off this show, and this ain't a sponsor or nothing. I just want to. Today, I bought a book this morning. I finished it today. It's called Atomic Habits. And I've seen this, people suggest this before, but I had never wanted to spend the money on it, and I just was like, that's stupid. I spent the money on it today. I bought it, and it's by James Clear, and holy shit. All right, so I've been going through books left and right the past 2 weeks, like a book a day, a book every 2 days, depending on the size of the book. I've been just cramming as much knowledge as I can in, uh, just because I'm tired of being the way I am, right? And I know, obviously, with schizophrenia and chronic PTSD and night terrors and all the other depression and all this shit that I have bouncing around in my fucking head, I know it's challenging. I know it's going to be a challenge no matter what I do. But I don't want to be a lazy sack of shit, you know? And, I'll have some days where I'm motivated and fucking just, I get everything done. And then I'll have other days where I'll sit there on my ass and binge watch Netflix. So, I need to find a balance or just go straight extreme in the good direction. And so I've been researching and just cramming as much knowledge as I can, hoping that something clicks, something happens to where I can take control of my time and not end up watching YouTube for 6 hours or whatever, you know? Um, and this book, Atomic Habits, I've heard about it. I've heard people talk about it. I've seen podcast of the writer talking about it, and I never gave it much credit. But I had never read it either. So I got it this morning, went through it all day. While I was at work, it's a audio. I've been doing straight up audio books, so I can listen to it while I work, and listen to it on the train. And I'm just addicted to audiobooks right now because I can actually get through them and I don't have to sit there and read. I can do other things while I listen to it. Driving in the car, listen to the audiobook. Hopefully, you guys are listening to my podcast when you're doing something else so that you can get stuff done and listen to my beautiful voice, every day. Support the podcast. I'm just kidding. I don't even do the podcast every day. Some days I just say fuck it. Um, and that's why I haven't grown as much as I should. The podcast has grown. We're at 185 episodes. We've had over 12,000 downloads. It's growing. Uh, but I should be it should have grown about 4 times more than what it is. But I've been lazy and so it hasn't grown as much. For example, when I kept track of in January I put the pedal to the metal. I fucking did all the social media posts. I did the podcast every single day, didn't miss a day, all through January. And in January alone, I got almost 3,000. And so over a year, we're at 12,000. And in 1 month, I got 3,000. So you can see I should be a lot, the podcast should be grown a lot more than it is. Um, but it's simply I have a lot more bad days than I have good days. And so I don't do what I'm supposed to. Well, let me tell you about this book. It breaks down into 4 rules. basically how to get habits that you want, how to make them a reality. Goes into habit stacking. It goes in how to break bad habits, and it breaks everything down into this micro level to where it's so you're just like, why didn't I think about that before? And at every step of the way, plain English examples how to do it. And the like it legit fucking works. And I've already proven it works just today. So I'll give you examples of what I took from I read the whole or listened to the whole book today. When I got home, I decided I finished the book on the way home on the train and driving. And when I got home, I said, I'm gonna do this straight up. This is what I finally found a book that made it click. Uh, small gains over a long time is just like compounding interest works. You know, if if you want to be financially free, you don't just in 2 months you're not financially free. You put your money into your retirement a little bit every month over 20 years, and then after 20 years you only put the 1%, 6%, whatever. You only put a little bit at a time, but then over 20 years, boom, now you have a lot of money. So it's basically the one of the sides of it is a little bit better over time adds up to a lot. If you get 1% better at something every day for a year, you'll be 36% better at the end. Or some what I don't no 36 times better at the end of the year. Yeah, so 1% per day, you improve 1%, and then you're 36 times better at the end of the year. So and you adapt it to every situation and different situations. And the thing that helped me is coupling one of the things James uh, his name's James Clear talks about is coupling things you don't want to do with things you do want to do. So you have to do the thing you don't want to do in order to do the thing you do want to do. So I immediately implemented that today. When I got home, I did whatever, and then at some point I was like, man, I really want a coffee. So I went in, put the cup under the coffee machine, and started the coffee. It's one of the instant coffee machines, you put the little pouch in and start it. I started it, so it only takes about 30 seconds to run, but then I said I can't touch the cup until I clean the kitchen. So if it takes me too long to clean the kitchen, one, the coffee will be cold, and two, I cannot take my coffee that I really, really want until the kitchen's clean. Now, if that ain't fucking motivation to get your ass in gear and clean the fucking kitchen, I don't know what is. Because it worked. I said, and you don't say it in your head because you're not going to do it. You say it out loud. Okay, if I want that coffee, and I had already hit start, so it's already in the cup. If I want that coffee, I have to clean the kitchen. So I stood there, cleaned the kitchen, and then took my coffee. Boom, it worked. And so now I just have to do that every time. Every time I want a coffee, if the kitchen is dirty, I have to clean the kitchen before I take my coffee. And I can do it consistently every day. It's something that I can consistently do, and it creates a good habit of keeping the kitchen clean. Um, so I've already implemented that, and then I also implemented the 1% thing. It's better to show up every day than he has a 2-minute rule. And so I implemented the 2-minute rule. So every new habit you break it down. You don't state big goals like if you want to lose 50 pounds, that should not be your goal. So your end goal is to lose 50 pounds. But let's break that down even farther to you want to work out 3 days a week. We break that down even farther to you want to work out 15 minutes a day. You break that down to you want to work out 2 minutes a day. And break that down to only putting on your shoes, your workout shoes and your workout outfit, whatever. You break it down to the smallest possible thing, and you only do the new habit for 2 minutes a day. That's it. So, say your goal is to work out for your end goal is lose 50 pounds, right? Break it down to you want to work out 2 minutes a day. So you work out for 2 minutes and then stop. Don't go farther. Don't go 5, 10, 15 minutes. 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes. Boom. Done. And you do that every day. And after a few weeks of doing it every day, the 2 minutes, you'll find yourself wanting to go for 15 minutes. And farther, and maybe in 6 months you lose the 50 pounds. You don't think about losing the 50 pounds. You concentrate on only working out for those 2 minutes a day. That's it. And the reason it's 2 minutes, 120 seconds, is because any longer than that, you can talk yourself out of it. So if I go straight to I want to work out an hour a day, and then I have a shitty day, and I have no energy, then I'm going to be like, I don't feel like working out today. I have no fucking energy and I can't work out for an hour, so I'm just not going to do it today. I'm going to sit here and watch Netflix. But if it's only 2 minutes, then the whole point is to get the habit formed before you increase. So that no matter what happens, no matter how shitty your day is, no matter how depressed you are, no matter how whatever is going on in your life, you still do the thing that you want. And so everyone, no matter how bad their day is, can work out for 2 minutes. And that's the goal, is to be consistent every day until the habit is in place so that no matter what happens, you do it. And then once the habit is in place, then you increase it to maybe 10 minutes a day and then 20 minutes a day, and you have to know yourself, but you only increase once the habit is formed to where no matter what happens, you do it, right? And so I did that. I implemented that, I'm going to implement it for working out. I was actually trying to decide whether I wanted to get on the treadmill or do the podcast just now. I decided to do the podcast first, and then I'm going to get on the treadmill after this. But I did it for writing on my book. And so I opened my book and was only going to do 2 minutes of writing. I may get maybe 1 or 2 sentences done and then close it, right? I actually ended up getting about 500 words down, which is a lot more than I was expecting anyway. So I'm happy. But the key is I'm also going to track it. So I made up a new Excel sheet that automatically does the starting word count, the ending word count, and shows me how much I got done and the date. So every day that I do the word, every time the word count goes up, every day that I do it, I'm only going to sit down and I'll make sure I write on my book at least 2 minutes a day. If I end up going for 20 minutes, hell yeah. For the writing thing, I'm only going to do, I'm going to go as far as minimum for me is 2 minutes on the writing. If I end up going longer, I'm excited. If I only do the 2 minutes just to get it over with, then as long as I get that 2 minutes a day, on my writing, I'll be happy. Um, the working out, I'm gonna I'm gonna do the 2 minutes. If I go longer, awesome. If I do the 2 minutes and say, all right, I'm fucking tired anyway, that's it, then that's it. But I'm gonna start implementing these things all throughout all the things that I want to get done in these 2 minute intervals, and then the other things I'm gonna implement on if I want something, like if I want to have my coffee, then I have to do this. Uh, for me, it was clean the kitchen, but I'm gonna start implementing things like that. Like if I want to do this, then I have to do this, and so I can get things done, other things done. You know, like there was a great example which I'm actually gonna use um, to probably in the mornings. Um, is when you go in to take a shower, you turn the water on. What do? You wait for it to warm up. So every time that you turn the water on, in that 1 to 2 minutes of warm up, you clean your toilet, clean your sink, clean up your bathroom while the water warms up. And so I'm gonna start doing that one. That's a really good one. Um, and just things like that. And maybe if you watch TV in your living room, so at the every time you want to watch TV, or when you finish watching TV, you have to attach it at a specific point, and you always do it. So maybe you can do, in order to watch TV, you have to clean the living room, or when you finish watching TV, you have to straighten up the living room before you leave the living room. Set it up. Generally, I would say set it up at the before stage. Like you have to do what you don't want to do before you do what you do want to do. But either way, I highly recommend everyone go out and buy this book. Like, I'm not even doing a great job explaining everything. You really just have to get this book. And I'll say it one more time. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's legit. I mean, I don't go through too many books in a day. Even the Can't Hurt Me book took me 3 or 4 days. So it's literally, it's the only book I've ever seen to where it breaks it down into such small, manageable pieces that you can actually feel better about getting stuff done. Like you really don't, uh, you may not understand how good it feels to get that, just to get that 2 minutes done of something. And there's 24 hours in a day, and I'm excited just to get 2 minutes done of something every day. And then maybe I can up it to 15 minutes a day, or 30 minutes a day, or an hour a day in the future. But to just prove to myself that it is possible to do it every single day, that it is physically possible for me to do something every day, it is amazing. Like the feeling is amazing. And so it motivates me to do it again tomorrow. And so I highly recommend this book. And I'm gonna be sitting down later and writing down habits that I want, and habits that I want to lose, and habits that I currently have that are neutral, and I'm gonna make a plan out for the day, for every day, from here on out, and I'm gonna start all of them. All the new ones are either gonna be attached or be set at that 2 minute rule until maybe a month or two down the road, then I can up it, and just to prove to myself that I can do something every day without fail, even when I feel like shit, even when the depression hits me, even when the voices in my head are fucking telling me that I can't do it, just to prove to myself that even when I'm at rock bottom, that I still can get it done. All right. I think we covered everything that I wanted to cover today. Um, so I love you all. I hope you have a great weekend. I plan. This is not set in stone. I plan on trying to get a YouTube video done this weekend. Um, if I'm able to. I have the other night I had an amazing idea to do for a new YouTube series to dealing with schizophrenia and depression and things like that. And I'm gonna do my best at my try to use my limited video editing skills and produce something worth it. If I'm able to produce something good in a timely manner, then I would love to set it up for like one video per week. Um, but if it takes me, 8 hours or 12 hours to do a video, then I'm not gonna commit to that every week. You know what I mean? Um, because YouTube is like literally just a side thing. The main focus obviously is the podcast here, on whatever platform you're listening on. Um, the main focus is to being able doing research for the podcast, getting the podcast done, at minimum 5 days a week. Um, like that's doing the social media for the podcast. That's where I want to focus most of the energy that I have. And then on the side, if I'm able to do it one video per week. We'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully, once I get the these new systems on forming habits in place, hopefully, I mean, obviously they're already starting to get into place, and I can already see the effect. Um, but that's on a good day, you know. I gotta wait and see if on the bad day if it still holds. So, because you can't judge anything until you get through the bad times and you still do it. You know what I mean? So, anyway, if you want to help out the podcast, just share it with someone. Maybe share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram. Tell your friends to follow Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. They're all at the Schizophrenia Life. Um, maybe just ask your friends or family to just download all the episodes of the podcast, see or download ones they think they'll enjoy. I try to get the titles as accurate as possible because most podcasts talk about multiple things, and I try to get them as accurate as I can for the subject that I talk about the most. So, um, hopefully, uh, you can help the podcast grow. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. I still love you, and uh, I still hope you're doing okay. And if you need any help, as always, uh, message me either on Facebook or Instagram. I wouldn't use Twitter because I don't get notifications on there, but Facebook and Instagram I get notifications, and unless I'm sleeping due to the time zone differences, unless I'm sleeping, I generally answer within a couple minutes. So if you need help, if you need someone to talk to, I'm always here. Uh, just stay strong, keep fighting, and we'll get through this together. I mean that the reason this podcast has been as successful as it has been is because it's more like a family slash support group environment, not just a hey, if you want to change your life, just do this. No, it's more of we support each other and we all get better. Um, that's it. This is Schizophrenia Life, and I'll see you again later.